Good evening and welcome to tonight's episode of Reading Between the Lineups, episode number 14. I'm your host, DRC, and we have got a great show for you. Tonight, we've got King Julien on the stream. Recent nut up or shut up champion. Perfect League champion of yesteryear. A cyclist, as we'll find out. Former member of the BFF sub-community. And also, we're giving away 30,000 perfect points tonight. So if you stick around, you'll have an opportunity to win that. I like how my camera is like sliding off the screen here. It's like I'm trying to run away from you guys. And I do have my Puma scroll. Maybe that's hanging on too long. The Puma already ate those victims long ago. We'll get rid of it. But before we start the show tonight, let's first get to Hit and Run. So my topic for Hit and Run tonight is called Planning for the End. It's no secret that we're starting to pull into the station here. We've only got a couple of content releases left. Chris is dropping one of those on us in a couple of days. And then the final one will come a week after that. So we're kind of pulling into the station here. It's almost over. What has been an incredible journey, an incredible ride that is PT21 is wrapping up. And we're gearing up for PT22. So I wanted to think about, how do we celebrate? How do we send off what has been an awesome game cycle? My first year in the community, my first year in Perfect Team. How do we do that? What would be the best way to do so? And so I, just like Winnie the Pooh, I scratched my noggin. I sat there, laid in bed, trying to figure out just the best way to do this. And then just like everything else that I've learned in this game, just like all the other tips and tricks I've picked up along the way, instead of coming up with a unique original idea, I ended up landing on stealing someone else's idea. So, in the sense that imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, I looked around. I said, how do other sports, how do other organizations do this? And the answer was resoundingly the same. They have an award show. They get together. They offer up recognition of their members. They hand out some hardware. And I think that we should do the same darn thing. And I think it would be more than a boatload of fun. I think it would potentially be, and maybe this is getting over my skis a bit here, but I think it could easily be the most fun episode that we have all year. So here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that we host the first ever annual Perfect Team Community Choice Awards. Or as everyone will be trending on all social media outlets, the hashtag APTCCA. We'll probably shorten that. We'll cut that up a bit. But the spirit remains true. So what would that look like? What could that be? What would the APTCCA take on the appearance of? I think it would take on awards for a number of categories. The best of Discord shtick, the best of Perfect Team tournament players, the best of Perfect Team sub-community leaders, community contributions, main league players, the best lucky pack ripper of the game cycle, the best auction house savant, and more. These are just 7 ideas that popped out of my brain. I am eager and hungry to hear ideas of categories that you would love to have consideration of and to vote on who is the most deserving champion of that. So I think this would be a ton of fun, and I'm excited to do it. I've already got some people in mind here, but this is not going to be something that I am determining as the perfect team czar, which I am definitely not. This is going to be something that is community driven. And so how is that going to work? Oh no, I've got that horrible animation for all this text. You guys will have to suffer through it. So, here's how it's going to work. I'm opening up suggestions for categories. So if there is an award type, if there is an award consideration that you think should be part of the show, suggest it. DM me on Discord. Message me in the DRC channel Discord, which I'll link right here in the chat. I would love to hear any suggestions. The whole idea here is to be fun. So let's not do anything that directly hates on anyone or is overly mean to anyone. But absolutely open season for categories that should be considered here. Open nominations by category. So once we settle on which categories we're going to hand out some awards for, some virtual awards. I'm not going to be shipping out tournament or shipping out trophies like Walnut over here. We're going to be handing out digital hardware or software, if you will. And then after we finalize our categories and after we finalize our nominations, then it's survey time. I'm going to throw all this stuff in a survey monkey. We'll blind out the results. We'll send it out to anyone who wants to vote. And then we'll let the people decide. We'll let the people decide who is the rightful champion of all the different categories that we are looking at here. And then the results will be revealed on the show. So when will that show be? I've currently penciled in a Thursday. So we know that Chris is going to be is going to not have This Week in Perfect Team to do. There's going to be a hiatus period between the end of PT21 content and the beginning of PT22 content. So we'll kind of nestle right in between there. Late February gives us about a month to finalize our categories, finalize our nominations, and then we can have a nice little show. And what I'm going to do for you guys, I don't own a tux. But what I do own is a suit, a poorly fitting suit. I do own a tie. And I would be more than happy to don both for this lovely show. Maybe we even get some special guests on. I don't know. Jay Malay giving me a month to get a tux. Oh, and let me call out. We've got Crash and Wait Till Next Year both subscribing. Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys, for the support. So what do you guys think? Does this sound like a fun idea? I was giddy as I was developing it, but everyone loves their own ideas. Everyone loves their own brand. But I thought this could be a ton of fun. And just thinking of some of the categories that I already suggested, I'm curious to see how the community would vote. Like, how is the best Discord shtick vote going to go? Like, what is going to trump why not a 79? That's the question. And we will answer that question and more on the APTCCA, February 25th at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Former guests are presenters. I like the idea, Mac. I like the idea. I know you've been dying to get your beautiful mug back on these airwaves. That would give you that opportunity. Why not at 8:59? I don't know. Dan Brothers Memorial. Maybe we once and for all have some sort of Dan Brothers versus George Sizzler competition. I still remember the week that Sizzler went absolutely bananas for Wait Till Next Year. I can't remember what the numbers were. You know, months and months of seeing normalized numbers probably scrub the wild outlier nature of it. But I wanted to say it was something crazy, like batting .340 over the course of a season, hitting like 50 homers and driving in like 140. It was bananas. But I never saw Dan Brothers put up a line like that. So maybe Wait Till Next Year wins that one by default. I actually pulled a Brothers. So in one of my fits of diamond pack ripping, Dan Brothers came across. and the L7 had sunk to a much lower level that made it less of a celebration than pulling a Mark Belanger or a Rabbit Marinville. But it wasn't bad. Could have been a lot worse, that's for sure. All right, I'm going to put you guys on Be Right Back, and then we are going to get this interview going. Joining me tonight for Reading Between the Lineups is King Julien, recent champion of the Nut Up or Shut Up DLL Challenge. How are you doing tonight, King Julien?
Wonderful.
Well, thank you so much for joining. We're very excited to have you on. I'd love to start with you just sharing more about the person behind the screen name King Julien.
Well, my real name is Dan, but in my past I've done a lot of video gaming, and I'm a big believer in you don't get to choose your own nickname. And at some point I played a lot of Civilization, and I guess online multiplayer league called Civ Players League, and I used to take it very, very serious, to the point where one day somebody started making fun of me, and I kind of went with making fun of me and calling me King Julien and rolling with it, and basically, I'm the king of nothing, really. So I kind of just rolled with it.
Awesome. And how about your team name? You are the Highland Deer, the champion Highland Deer. How did you settle on the team name Highland Deer?
That's my hometown right now, and I look outside and I saw a deer, and I don't like S's in my team name, so just kind of rolled. I never in a million years would have imagined having to talk about it on Twitch.
So what state is the great city or village or town of Highland in?
Michigan, just outside of Detroit.
Oh, beautiful.
So right at the transition to from city to basically farm area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. I've got some friends in the area, some family in the area as well. So speaking of your lineage there, your background, did you grow up in the area, and did you play baseball as a kid?
I played a lot of baseball growing up. From pretty much about a town or two over. But grew up playing baseball at T-ball age. I was really fortunate to have a young friend of mine down the road, and we played baseball every day. The two of us, I gotta imagine, geez, I would say during the summer, we maybe miss a day or two of playing two-man baseball. We had a small little field we played on. It was a very, very short porch to right, which we replicated everything. So if the guy was a switch hitter, lefty, righty, things like that, we tried to replicate, every single thing we saw growing up, World Series, playoffs, things like that. We played all out, lineup for lineup, pitcher for pitcher type things.
And so was this like a Detroit Tigers recreation here, because that was the local team, or were you guys doing the whatever teams were in the playoffs that given year, whatever the popular MLB players were at the time?
Everybody, every team.
And who was your favorite to emulate? What stance did you really knock down, or what stance when you rocked it you could really square up a baseball?
I can't remember at what point in transition, but obviously Gary Sheffield. Everybody wanted that, that wild swing.
Mm-hmm.
So that was probably my favorite. Or Julio Franco. Who didn't like that?
Yeah, I think the Franco one's probably a little easier, especially as you're younger. To do the Gary Sheffield, you need those super crazy strong wrists to be able to get that bat action going and not end up totally messing up the timing of your swing.
Yeah, but at 10 to 12 years old, you think you are that guy. So, that's what we thought we were at that age.
Yep. I remember, my story is not too dissimilar. Now, instead of having a buddy that I would go play with every day, I have two brothers. I'm the oldest of three boys, separated by a total span of 5 years. And so we would go to the school that was right next to my grandmother's house. And painted on the side of the brick wall of the school was a strike zone. And so that was effectively our catcher. And we would go up there, and at the time we were just replicating or emulating Chicago Cubs players. So you'd have your Sosa stance, your Mark Gray stance, your Eddie Zambrano, and just play all day, literally all day long. You wake up in the morning, you head out, and then who knows how many hours, 4 or 5 hours later, you come back after having recreated game after game and had memorable moments. Just can't beat it.
Now I got to ask a question. I mean, we used to get into brawls and stuff. I mean, if somebody didn't like a strike call, did you guys ever do that?
Oh, absolutely. My middle brother's my middle brother's hallmark was taking his ball and going home. So whether it was an out call, a strike call, a check swing, typically that was what actually ended our play. Was something would happen, it would be a disagreement on a judgment call, and that was it. We didn't normally cap things off by getting to the 27th out of the game and determining a winner. We normally ended right when he wanted to quit because there was something happening that he didn't like. So that's typically how it went.
I think our childhoods are right up there. I mean, we had a lawn chair for our strike zone, and if it grazed the corner or not, I mean, oh yeah, it. And then eventually one fight, and the funny part is usually I was staying at his house, we'd fight, and then have to go back inside and just sit there and play video games and just be mad at each other.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, what was your favorite team as a kid? Was it the Tigers?
Any team Gary Sheffield played for, the Tigers. I had a brief infatuation with the Giants for a while, Padres, Orioles. I mean, just growing up, the Tigers were always number one, but I had a lot of number 2, 3, 4s all the time.
And I'm guessing that Sheffield played for the Braves, and the Braves at that time were nationally broadcast frequently on TBS, so you probably got to see a lot of it.
I remember that all the way back to when Sheffield was briefly a shortstop with the Brewers and then went to the Padres. So I don't know if you remember that Sheffield actually started off at short.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Very interesting. So rumor has it, King Julien, Dan, that you still get out onto the diamond. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Sadly, that might be messed up in the notes, but no, I stopped playing about 7 years ago.
Oh, okay.
But after, so no, I played a ton of baseball and softball and beer league softball in my 20s, and then slowly that turned in from muscle and a little bit of more weight. I actually jumped sports into cycling. Which kind of leads into some of the why I even play OTP and why it works for my life.
Yeah, absolutely. So I myself am or at least was a softball addict. Can't get enough leagues, can't get enough competition or competitive play there. My position was shortstop until I got too old and fat for the range there. My range rating definitely went down significantly. And then I got moved over to second base. And I could hack that, but I'll say that the aging within softball is really where you notice it. In your every day-to-day life, you might notice you're getting a little bit fatter, your bones creak a little bit more as you're going up the stairs, but you don't really notice. Nothing is as humbling as that moment where you're ranging to your right and trip over your two legs, or you reach down for a ball and can't quite get there when you know that's a ball that used to be a routine play for yourself simply 5 years earlier.
Yeah, but with softball, once you get into competitive, you don't need much range. I mean, the balls hit so damn hard.
Absolutely. Yeah, if it's not at you, you're not getting it anyway.
Yes, it's the only position I refused to ever play. I mean, I played most of them, and shortstop second was my primary, but I hated third. That's the worst position of all softball. I have no desire to play that position. Yeah,
definitely a hot corner. I've seen more and more people wearing the masks, the infield masks at third base, and you almost see every pitcher now in the leagues that I most recently played in with the pitcher donning the mask as well. Just people not wanting to get those beautiful cheekbones broken.
Yeah, actually, I can't feel this side of my mouth actually taking a ball right to the face. Third is not a fun place to be in. No, unfortunately, so then I moved on from that into cycling. I know it's kind of a strange sport to jump into, but that's kind of what I do now.
Yeah, so your love of the game transitioned to at least from a physical activity standpoint to cycling, but at some point you bridged over into video games, the video game formats of baseball. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so growing up, I mean, we always played like I don't know if you remembered hardball or the front page sports stuff.
Oh, I loved Hardball. That was the first game where it looked real. Like
Yes.
I don't know how they did it exactly how they mapped the animation, but it was the first game that didn't look like a game. It looked like almost recorded and replayed back video of the players doing whatever they were doing, whether it was pitching or hitting. But I remember that game, and I remember you wanted to get the pitchers that threw fastball exclamation point because there were two fastballs in the game.
Yes.
You could have a
Oh
regular
yeah.
fastball or a fastball exclamation point, and those are the guys that actually threw hard. But yeah, I played the heck out of that game.
Oh, oh, that was like the coolest thing. And I what was it like on MS DOS at that time? So like you had
Hmm.
to hard type everything in. So yeah, growing up, yeah. So if we couldn't play outside, we were playing hardball, the RBI. But for whatever reason, I think just with that mentality, I mean, we kept scorecards, everything. Like my friend and I were definitely gravitated towards that strategy and the number side of things. So the hardball front page sports really grabbed our attention more so than like even Ken Griffey Jr. and all those type of games.
Yeah, I remember on one of my hardball franchises, I had Cubs pitcher Jamie Navarro, who wasn't a good pitcher at all. He was just an average at best arm at the time. But I found myself in like late April with him still rocking a 0 ERA. And so then I made it my mission to try to get through the whole season with Navarro finishing with a 0 ERA. So I'd start him for a game. He'd face a couple of soft righties, and then I'd pull him. And then later on in the week, I'd see the a bad hitting catcher and a pitcher coming up, so I'd put him into the game. I think I got into June before he blew it, but that was probably my first game that I obsessed about, and honestly, I'd forgotten about it. So I'm so glad you brought it up.
Yeah, that it actually I had to call my roommate and or my friend slash college roommate just to find I couldn't remember the name of it growing up. I was like, I just remembered it wasn't like FPS or that. I was just like, what was it? And it was hardball. So no, it was. I don't remember even like what got us into that, but that started the journey into like OOTP. Um, then in college, that same friend and I eventually roomed up and somehow, some way, we got into OTP and we got an online league, and we were in one for 3 4 years.
That's awesome. So you got into an online league. You did 3 or 4 years, and what was that experience like?
Awesome. We had my other roommate was in it for the yeah, so we were together for about 2 years, the three of us. So, I mean, the amount of trash talking, the amount of trades, all the drama, uh, my hatred for all Yankees GMs going forward started with that league. I think I asked you a quick question. If you'd ask Rich, why are all Yankees GMs like Yankees GMs? Whatever that guy's name was, I'm trying to remember. I think his AOL Instant Messenger name was Gary Sanchez, which is a play. I can't remember on why, but a lot of us just, at that point we used AOL Instant Messenger, similar to Discord these days, and we all had our fake names back then as well.
That's awesome. So you do that for a couple of years, and it sounded like you loved that experience. You loved Out of the Park, and then from then you continue to support the game, and you bought the base game even in years in which you didn't even turn it on or didn't even play it.
Nope. I just had a soft spot for you. They just seemed like, especially I think it was OTP5. I mean, it just seemed like a small company, and you had an appreciation for something that it was so much better than I think what you have like, not Diamond Mine. What was the other one? There's another one back then that was out there that just wasn't Baseball Mogul.
Baseball Mogul, yeah.
Yeah, that one was like, if you played that one was so easy, like against the computer, and like OTP was just in a different league.
Absolutely. So you buy multiple versions year over year. You continue to support the company, and then all of a sudden you notice that there's this thing called Perfect Team.
So I think so OTP 20, for whatever reason, that one I finally started getting into. I just jokingly opened up like the PT, opened up cards, set up a lineup, and never came back or didn't come back for 6 to 8 months. So then in the wintertime, I'd burn through like all my turn-based games, Civ, XCOM. So I needed something that I can. I ride my bike a lot, about 10 to 15 hours a week. So I need something that's just up on the screen that I can kind of get to when I need to waste 30 minutes of mind space. So just opened up OTP again, saw the perfect team, and went, "Holy crap, man! I got all these packs. Like, like, what does this even mean?" So I did what I think anybody would do in that position, right or wrong, is let's just open a whole bunch of the diamond packs. Let's go. Like, they're there. Why wouldn't you? And found out that was a really bad idea. That's a whole, as we all know. I mean, just that first experience growing and moving up. Oh, I think I got my dog.
That's okay. She's got something to say.
One sec here.
This could be our first ever guest appearance on Reading Between the Lineups. Guest of a guest.
Just the wife. The wife and the youngest is home. So sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, no worries at all. So you opened your diamond packs, and then you found that might not have been the optimal strategy, and then you went looking for some help.
Yeah, so not right away. I didn't go for some help. I just kind of mucked around in it for a little bit, and then was like, well, crap, if I just start a new team, I assume I can make some packs and PP instantly. Just for 6 months, if this happens, it's got to be pretty easy, only to find out that it doesn't. So then that's when I started looking into just kind of what makes this game tick. What is it even about at that point? And then somehow got on the BFF radar and asked to join if I could just kind of hang around.
And then they declined you, and the rest was history. Or no, they obviously accepted you in, and then you joined that group.
They let me just lurk. Yeah, so I just lurked. I lurked for about maybe 2 months, 3 months. Just sat there. I didn't really read much, but I just sat there and lurked. And then once the new game came out, that's when I started paying attention.
And so from the beginning, from March, April, where you glued in and you were listening to the strategies being shared on there and seeing the different avenues that people were taking to be successful as free to play, and were you emulating them? Were you trying to follow along, or what was your strategy to keep up and be part of that group and build a good team?
I can just say, the first few weeks I did nothing right. Just you think you're paying attention, you think you know what you're doing, and like all of a sudden, like there's a group of like 10 guys to 20 guys that are like good at this game. I can't stress that enough. The guys in BFF, they know everything about this game. And so I learned really quickly, like, holy crap, like thinking, I was paying attention, I really wasn't. And then I basically that first, I think second or third week, realized that trying to build a good team really is not the right way as a free to play. Sold everything that I could. The BFF was awesome to join. Just we had some crazy rules, but I think a lot of them were there because even in my short time in PT20, making Perfect League was rather easy. So we had some crazy stuff. So we couldn't sell our golds or diamonds historical wise. So we, so I sold everything that I could, and then just started building the team back up from scratch, and then started paying attention to really what they were talking about.
And so how did those restrictions really govern your play or your build? Obviously, you've talked about how you can't sell this card, can't sell that card. How many times did you bump into that and think like, oh, shoot, I just pulled a 94, whatever. I don't want to use this card, but I can't do anything with it.
Every day. I probably almost wanted to bail on it like weekly. It's very tough when you got something that you can't sell that's worth some money, that's just worth money but no good to your team. So that's like the hardest part. But once in a while you do pull some good cards that are useful, and that's kind of how my journey to being somewhat successful. And my strategy just was on the cards I pulled. I think I pulled Cabrera, 99 Cabrera, the low end bets, McCarthy, just a whole bunch of righties, and built that lane. And next thing you know is I'm a righty guy.
And so you became righty cheese not by choice, but by virtue of the luck, the pack luck that drove you in that direction.
Yep.
And
I had no choice. Like I couldn't afford lefties, and I had all righties on my team.
I know that you were righty cheese when you won Perfect League. Was there any point between winning Perfect League and this more Genesis period that you're talking about here where you were anything but that?
Nope, I was pretty much righty cheese from I think gold on up, right into the diamond every year, all the way until the championship or the perfect league.
You mentioned before the show that one of those DLL BFF mashups was kind of
Oh
impactful in
yeah,
your journey and had some fallout on the overall direction you had. Why don't you share that story?
uh, twice actually. DLL screwed with me twice, big time. The first time was I think a second week in diamond. Oh my gosh, we hit them and it was just like holy crap! Like we'd been rolling pretty well in diamond, and all of a sudden we get matched up with them, and next thing you know is we're all about to be relegated. We're like, so I went from like kind of just watching and being like, my team's doing okay, to like, holy crap, I have to actively manage not to get relegated today.
Mhm.
So, um, so after that, I actually got fortunate. Then about 2 weeks later, I got my first opportunity in Perfect League, which I think it was well known at that time. I think the Whale King made fun of me a few times for that. I think they set the most losses in a season.
What was that watermark? Do you recall? Was it 120 losses, 115, 125?
Actually, I have it up just for memory. 106 at that time.
106 losses. And was that deflating, crushing, or was that what you were expecting?
I expect it to be bad, but I don't know if I expect it to be that bad. I mean, it was just. I mean, I think I had like a +6 too on the season. So I mean, it could have been worse.
So you get into Perfect League. You obviously get relegated after a 106 loss season, and at some point after that, you break with BFF. Why don't you tell us what made you break and kind of go your own route?
Well, yeah. So before that, yeah. So right after that, like then I got relegated day down to gold. I sold off my stuff. I built the team back up, um, and that the face of the franchise, I guess, funded my ascension in the Perfect League.
Mm-hmm.
So getting to Perfect League that first day, I think it was a Sunday night. I pulled another Bruce Sutter. So I already had Bruce Sutter, who was locked because of our rules. I pulled another one. I'm going to Perfect League. I, with the face of the franchise, had a decent team. I think at that time, I can't remember if I had Banks and Clemente, but I had a really good righty team that first year in Perfect League, ready to go. So to break the rules, I just let the guys know that I was selling, some cards, and that my team was no longer going to be following that strategy or the rules that we had. Then I found out later that night that I got a Lefty Grove from the gold tourneys as compensation for third or fourth when they changed the prize structure after that. So then I was really committed to just really building a good team from there.
Yeah, absolutely. That's interesting. So, what are the odds that you not only pull one Bruce Sutter to be BFF locked, but you pull a second one that likely sits in your inventory and just taunts you every time you dare click the duplicates button?
That's I don't know how some of the guys have done it. I just couldn't do it. I'll be honest. I could not quick sell duplicate Bruce Sutter getting into Perfect League. I mean, that's at that time that had been 80,000 PP that just went out the door, and this is my first chance, inside Perfect League to do something. So, at that point, I had to break the rules and move on.
And so you decide to break the rules, and at that point, I'm guessing the floodgates open because over the course of the game cycle, you likely had accumulated 20, 30 cards that were BFF locked that you could now do something with. So did you go to the auction house and basically have everything must go sale?
Yeah, I pretty much banked about 400,000 in one day.
In addition to, did you sell the Lefty Grove?
Not yet. No, I didn't know at that time. I'd yet to make that decision right away, and I was patient. I knew it was my one chance to sell something big. A couple guys sold it. I don't know if you remember some of that, like really quick at $1 million. And I know there's only 8 of them. So once 6 of them were gone, there was one other guy left and me. So at that point, there is no one bidding against me. It's just me.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So I was the last one to sell, and I think I sold it for right around 2.
Oh, that's excellent. So let's talk a little bit more about your experience within Perfect League. Obviously, the first time you get relegated, which which number of week within Perfect League was the one where you ended up winning?
2045?
Okay.
No, wait, 2048. Because the first year in Perfect League, I'll be honest, that's the year I got in there and went all the way to the championship game. My first season in it, and that team was way better than that was my team that should have won it.
Oh, okay.
That's what just bugs me is like the team that first year in it, like I knew I had a good team, I knew I had the right strategy. I was the only one I think playing righty at that point. Still, I mean, I had DiMaggio for sure. I knew that, but I just heavily invested in the righty strategy, and it really worked that first year.
How challenging did you find Perfect League as compared to your Friends List BFF League or the BFF DLL crossover? And how was your play different?
The first few years, actually, I'd say it was somewhat easy. I think I was the only one playing the righty strategy. I think even through my win, I mean, I don't remember making many changes. Just kind of threw it out there and just ran it. I don't think it became. I don't want to say not challenging, but in terms of like paying attention to stuff, didn't happen until we kind of all had more of an equal playing field with all the cards.
So post face of the franchise, I'm assuming is what you mean when you say
Yeah.
that. And then did you enter into a much more active sim to sim or at least series to series type management?
Yes. Oh, without a doubt, you had to. I would say it's about 5 to 6 fold in terms of the time you have to play well in Perfect League now as opposed to then.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that we've been tracking and talking about over the past many months now is just that time has become one of the more precious commodities for succeeding within Perfect League. And the teams that we're seeing making the playoffs on a week-to-week basis are those that are doing everything they can to eke out favorable matchups, both from a hitting perspective, a pitching perspective, avoiding really rough platoon splits with their both pitchers and hitters. And so that's certainly in agreement with what we're seeing within the community. Now, what was it like for you to win? You know, you had that 1 week where you felt like that was the team that should have won, and you didn't. But then you get back to the World Series, and then you take it down in what was actually my first week of recording this show, reading between the lineups when Walnut was my guest.
I hate to get into too much of the past, but I mean, at that point, there were definitely, from the BFF standpoint, I mean, it was really awesome to be there just from that free to play, that BFF. Winning it. Not that there should be too much of a fight between free to play and pay to win, but just that the amount of effort and time that we had to put in to get there, it's just a huge relief. Like at that point, you just feel. I wouldn't say I was like excited. I almost just felt relieved. Like I no longer have to stress about things. That's probably the biggest thing. Is like at this point, you're just kind of. You're just, I got it. Now I don't have to obsess about it anymore.
Yeah, kind of transitioning into a world of house money where you've invested so much into this game, you want something tangible to take away from it, and the validation of the trophy, which who knows, maybe you've got it within arm's reach now or somewhere around the house there. You know, that kind of was the proving point, and at that point the pressure is off, and then whatever happens from there is all gravy.
Yeah, just relieved. And then, unfortunately, I'd say my time, like after that, now I feel like I'm now more actively managing now than I did then. So it's kind of weird that I'm more relieved, but yet now putting more time into the game.
Yeah, so let's talk more about that. Your post Perfect League title winning experience. So when you were done with your championship, obviously you go back to Perfect League, but at some point you get relegated from there, and you no longer have a BFF Friends List league to fall into, or maybe you do. I don't know if when you break the rule you can go back or not.
Nope. I had to start a new team, so I have a new team inside there. But most of my energy still just goes into the deer. So
yeah, so the deer now in random diamond leagues.
Yep.
Probably
just
dominating.
Hanging out. No. There's. I think I'll agree with you on one of your last. I guess insights on is it easier to make Perfect League or to win Diamond? I would say to win Diamond's tougher.
Yeah, you only get 10 playoff teams versus 16, and then 4 of those 10 just get a wild card game to get themselves into meaningful playoff opportunities. So winning diamond is no it's no vacation there, especially if you're in a league filled with really tough teams, which I'm sure as you're random matching on a weekly basis, you find yourself in some leagues and maybe even more appropriately some divisions that you wish you weren't in.
Oh yeah, actually, I did not make the playoffs the year before I joined the DLL.
Oh, really?
Challenge. So that was something I'm not proud of. But yeah, I did not even make the wild card game the year before I joined you guys for that week of fun.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because that was a big slice of humble pie that I had when I came back from Perfect. So I just finished an 8-week stint in Perfect. I think my what doesn't stink. And I get into the DLL and I immediately don't even make the playoffs. So the entire air of superiority or any sort of high horse that I was riding upon was immediately knocked down. And in my 8 weeks since being in Perfect, I've made the DLL playoffs exactly 4 times. So it's been a rough ride. But let's talk a little bit more about the DLL. So Walnut takes to the Discord and he announces a new challenge. Because the DLL is this impossible league. Every team in it is the best team in the world, and no outsider could ever have a chance of it. And that's been evidenced by 30 weeks of perfect team play where no outsider has ever won. So he takes to the Discord and says, all right, we're opening up the invite. If you think you're good, come on in and prove it. And the stakes are as follows. If you win, we'll ship you a trophy. If you get relegated, then you got to change your Discord logo. So you see that post and you think what?
I didn't even reach out to him at first. He actually reached out to me, coming off the humble no playoff experience and a couple cards that I was still targeting I hadn't had. I was definitely like, crap, man. Like, there's a good chance I'm going to get relegated if I join them. So, like, I think I posted a snap of the ending of our conversation between Walnut and me where he called me being an adult. So at that point, like, I guess I got to do it.
You were called to the carpet, so you had to deliver.
So I'll be honest, I did not want to do it at first. Just knowing the past with you guys, I mean, it's going to be a perfect league all over again. That's not to take anything away from perfect league. It's just now you have about 100, 120 some teams that are really good. So to go into the DLL, you're getting good teams.
And so you joined the league, you joined the Discord chat. I noticed that you were a pretty active participant in the Discord chat. That's always nice to see. And then the week gets underway. And I think you had a relatively tough division in there. So as the week got underway, how were you feeling about it? How was your play style changing? Were you being even more active than usual, even more optimizing of your lineup and rotation? Or were you just kind of doing what you always did?
I heavily invested a lot of time into the DLL week. I had a week working from home, and I microed the crap out of the week. I will not pretend for 1 minute here that I was not paying attention at any point in time. What blew my mind was Free Dave Brown in my first week with him. There's a ghost ship. On paper, I should be able to micro. I should be able to, pseudo. You should be able to come up with a lot of strategies because you know what he's doing. There's nothing you don't know what he's going to throw at you. And I think he took 2 out of 3 right off the bat for me at home in a lefty park and being pseudoed. And I was just like, what the heck? And I mean, next thing you know is I think I was 7-14 at one point in time that first month.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's one thing, there's one piece of magic that those outside the DLL don't fully understand, and that is Free Dave Brown's ability to steer his ghost ship to many wins every week. We have relegated incredible teams. We have relegated teams that go down to gold, rack up 130 wins, and then come right back. And Free Dave Brown's never one of them. Free Dave Brown sticks around. Free Dave Brown wins DLL while ghosting and then goes to perfect and wins it ghosting there too. It's amazing. It's the phenomena of the game cycle. But getting back to your... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, I think you even put out like a post preseason prediction, and you're like, yeah, Highlander, you're good, but you're just not winning this division. It's not in your destiny, man. Like, I'm just telling you. So, it was pretty funny. And then that first month, I'm like, holy crap, he wasn't kidding. Like, this I can't beat this guy.
Oh, did you have a fun time?
Oh yeah, without a doubt. As you can see, I'm probably more active in the private channels than I am on the big Discord and things like that. So yeah, I had a blast. Just you guys definitely have a fun sense of humor.
Yeah, glad to hear it, and I think it was fun for everyone. So that was something that it's a shame it was only a 1 week long lived challenge,
I,
but
why don't you guys try it again?
yeah, maybe we do. I don't know. I think that it was quite a blow to the ego. You have 30 weeks of puffing your chest out, and then the one time you really broadly open it up, you get taken. So maybe we'll see what the future holds there. We'll see what Walnut has in mind. Now you beat a really really great and talented team and owner in the first round of that playoff run. What can you tell us about that series?
You want to talk about that series? I don't know if I want to talk about that series. So, I mean, my strategy, I have a degree which is going to blow your mind in zoology, and observing stats and things like that is second nature to me. So I don't do too much like stat stuff. I just pretty quickly I can look at stuff, and my brain's just always digesting these numbers. And what I see in my head, I look at spreadsheets from people, and some of the ones I do, and usually it lines up. So with you, I was really confused because I think in our regular season matchup, I was 1-5 versus you.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, crap, man. I looked back at some of our games, and I knew I had a hot spawn. So I'm like, great, I got two wins. Okay, how do I get a third win out of you? The other thing that sucked at that point is Chris Sale had been carrying me up till the last month, and then he was cold. So I'm a big believer in hot cold streaks. So I actually threw him on the bench. And I think we split games 1 and 2. Obviously, I think my spawn took his game one from you. I think game 3, I realized in haste that I don't have a good third lefty starter, and you're running a similar strategy to me, so I had to roll the dice, and I think I threw Newhouser at you.
Newhouser, yep.
And he got lit up, just absolutely lit up by you. But my team decided to light up Mo in like the 9th.
Yeah.
So I definitely was like, holy crap, like that was a gamble. I did, and that's actually part of my strategy. If you look at just a lot of the decisions I made, even later on in the playoffs, I'm willing to lose a game to make sure I get a matchup somewhere else. So the matchup I was hoping then is I had Spawn and then David Price.
Yep.
So I thought those two, and then you lit up Price game 4, so that didn't even matter at that point. So.
And then we go game 5, and I think it was my Sale. Actually, it was my Glavin and Sale, because I did.
Yes.
I opened with Glavin to get the stuff boost on him, and pushed into Sale because you were running, I think, 5 lefties versus lefty, and I like that Sale matchup, the Sale matchup over Glavin, and it just wasn't meant to be.
I knew I was throwing Spawn at you, and he was on fire, so I figured I just needed a run. Just get one run, guys.
Yeah, I couldn't stop Spawn.
And I definitely got my run out of you.
Yep. You sure did. You killed me. I think you won that game like 13-1 or something really embarrassing.
Yep. So I got lucky. We're all gambling. I think all of our teams are so close. So to sit here and say I outmanaged you would be very, very. That'd be pretty short-sighted on my part to say that.
That's one of the big rules of DLL. The moment you beat someone, you loudly and scream from the rooftops that you outmanaged them. So you've earned that right for that 5-game series, and we'll give that to you.
Yeah, but at that point I couldn't say anything because I still had 2 more rounds to go. So I just had to keep my mouth shut. And I'm just sitting there like, okay, don't say anything. I mean, I don't think I sent a comment on the Discord until the end from that point on.
So you take me out in 5, then you go and you take Emmett on. Did you sweep that, or that was a quick one? It was either 4, 5, or 6. How many games was that?
It was 4.
Okay.
Yep, swept them.
Yeah, so that one allows you to get your pitching in order, and then waiting for you in the final. Oh, you didn't get your pitching in order?
No. So sweeping him was probably the worst thing ever. So I swept him, and then MacJax took the other guy out in 5, and so I was set up if I played at home. I had lefties available, but I'm sorry. how was it? I think both of us were set up poorly for going back to his park where righty was a little better to be a
Hmm.
starter. Because I didn't have Pedro, he didn't have Pedro. So like game one between the two of us was just, a garbage game for both of us.
Yeah, and so you're taking on three-time Perfect League champion Mac Jackson. Mac Jackson is tasked with preserving the integrity of the DLL, everything riding on his shoulders. You're the upstart guy taking on this challenge. What was that 7-game series like for you?
It was stressful. I don't think I left my kitchen table.
And you
like,
you get on that
like,
fun cycle where for 15 minutes you're questioning everything and then re-questioning it
oh
and then
yeah,
re-questioning it, and you click the submit team button like 47 times over that 15-minute span.
oh my god, yeah. Just going back. Oh, it was stressful. I mean, at that point, I'm all in. I had a whole week of investment into it, and so here you are playing fake baseball, and so this is where the name, Kick Julian even makes more fun of myself here. Is I'm taking myself so serious for a spreadsheet baseball game. Oh yeah, so as I just focused on each game, I knew I had to somehow get back home with my lefties, and I think I just threw away game two, just because I had no good matchup for him, and I think he obliterated me. Um, and then I can't remember if did I take him out in 6 or 5 at this
It
point.
was
I
six.
forget.
Six
It was six.
games.
Okay, yeah. So just wanted to get back home and win 2 out of 3 was the hope, and did so. And um, then we just all sit there and wait for game 6. And next thing you know, is it the long sim? Is it not the long sim? Is it the fake long sim? As we all started to maybe like see like that 5-minute sim for game 6. Wish you get your hopes up to only be crushed.
Absolutely. And so you beat Mac. You beat him in 6. And the funny thing is, Mac was beckoned to the DLL. His team, the San Angelo Warbirds, have been they were independent for the longest time, and they were doing random leagues and then getting to Perfect League and winning a bunch of championships. And Walnut had been in Mac Jack's ear for months on end, saying, "Hey, bring us the Warbirds, bring us the Warbirds." And he had his alt in there many times, and his alt is a defense-heavy team that would bounce between Diamond and Gold. And then Mac finally says, "Okay, fine, I'll come into the DLL." When he was on this particular show, he said, "Okay, one of the things I want to do before this game cycle is over is win a week of the DLL." And I think he might have even said to shut Walnut up. So Mac has been in the DLL now for, and I'm just estimating here, but 12, 13, 14 weeks, and still waiting on that first DLL title. And here you come in on your first week and you knock the champ off. How's that feel?
Good. I think that was followed up with. I think I showed QC something in the Discord about pitching the little asterisks and when people have 7-day lineups activated and what that means. So between that and 2 days span, I think I just need to retire from this. So if I can teach Quanta something with OTP and then win the DLL, I think I'm done.
Well, that is certainly satisfying. Well, let's talk about retiring and look into the future, really. So, are you going to play Perfect Team 22?
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Are you going to join a group?
Yeah, I'll stay with the BFF. Those guys, I would not be here without them. And then I'd say, every single one of those guys taught me something about the game. So I'm always, gonna whatever they decide to do or we decide to do, I'll be a part of no matter what.
Up until you win another Lefty Grove.
Well, I don't think we're gonna have as many rules next year. I don't think we have to. We did it last year thinking that everybody made Perfect League.
Right.
So what do you do if everybody makes Perfect League? So now that we all know that the challenge is that one league, like that single league, you gotta. I don't think we're gonna have many rules, to be honest.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now, so you're alluding to the fact that BFF could have a different rule set next year. Now, what will you do differently in terms of strategy, in terms of how you approach the game?
Oh.
You said you made some mistakes as you learned Perfect Team. What are you going to be applying to Perfect Team 22 that you didn't do for Perfect Team 21?
Delay that first ascension as long as you can. I guess I'm also part of what is it that little PP group, the Perfect Point Energy group, where they were trying to build little what do you call it, little game engines, like essentially that just can sit there and generate PP down to the lower levels. What does that take without, and obviously you got to do it without breaking the terms of service. So
Right.
what does that mean? How do you put something together? So I think a lot of us have realized, you don't invest in collection missions because then you have to collect pictures and you don't want good pictures. So
Right.
I think for the most part, I will collect batters and sell every pitcher I have and put on iron staff for as long as I can.
Interesting. Well,
Which then also runs into the tourney problem. So who knows? Maybe I have to come up with a couple good gold pitchers. I don't know. We'll see.
speaking of tourneys, which format did you play most this year? And do you think that'll be the
Gold.
same next year? Gold?
Gold is that's the one I know. I've tried to do bronze. I think bronze is actually more profitable than anything right now, especially with my other BFF team. I just that one. That one actually probably wins more packs and wins more stuff now than my main team. Just the volume of tourneys you can be in is just so high. So you lose a tourney, you're in the next one. Just spam, spam, spam.
Oh yeah, bronze tourneys are launching all day, every day, all night. There's really no time when you can't pop into a bronze, wait 5 minutes, and then sign up for the one right after it, whether you're doing both 5s, both 7s, whatever you want.
Yeah, a couple of us, I mean, for the most part, we have a Google Desktop on our phone, so you just keep it on that home screen, and you just go right to the tourney page over and over and over again.
Well, one of these days you'll have Out of the Park Go. You can do it right from there.
Yeah, that looked impressive, man.
Yeah.
That would be hopefully a game changer for the company to make some good money.
Absolutely. So, King Julien, we've reached the end of my prepared questions. Are there any other things that you wanted to bring up, or just general messages you wanted to share with the community?
No, not for the most part. No, I'm just having fun. Next year, I'd say the only other difference is I might even spend some money on the game and not necessarily go all in, but just there's definitely some things you can see if you can buy some PP at times.
Absolutely. Yeah, being able to, one of the things that I've always talked about is like there's two ways to really goose your economy. There's time and there's money. And, time is money when it relates to your in real life job or, time with family or what have you. And so, like, yes, I can grind the heck out of the auction house and flip live silvers until I'm blue in the face. Yeah, but maybe I just use a perfect point sale, drop $70 in the game, and then take out a 15-hour chunk of AH work that way. So, it's definitely something, or both. Go both. Go big.
Yeah.
Well, King Julien, thanks so much for your time tonight. I really appreciate the time, the insight. I don't appreciate you walking into DLL and walking out a champion. So we'll have to figure out a way to exact some revenge on you at some point in the future, whether in PT21 or PT22. But really appreciate your time tonight.
Yeah, you guys, it's up to you guys. I mean, either I just stay the king of DLL forever or you guys invite me back and you take it back from me. I mean, there's only one way to get it back from me, and you have to beat me. I mean, that is like the fundamentals of all sports.
To be the best, you have to beat the best.
Yep.
All right, King Julien. Well, again, thanks so much.
Yep.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Hope you guys enjoyed that interview as much as I did. It was on a lighter tone, but that was just a ton of fun. And the backstory itself, I find just awesome. We open up the challenge. He comes in there, and it could have easily gone the other way. That great team he matched up with in the first round could have beaten him. Matt could have beaten him. Emmett could have beaten him. But just it having played out the way that it did is comical. And it's a story. It's a story that we won't forget. And I think he's got a trophy on his way. From Walnut. So let's open up the giveaway. Actually, I've already done it. So type exclamation point ticket in the chat. That's going to get you entry. Entry does not cost anything. And once we let this run for a minute, I'll draw 3 winners. And each of those 3 winners will win 10,000 perfect points. The way to redeem those perfect points will be to send me a message on Discord with your perfect team username with the correct capitalization. Not what Walnut did last week when he won, sending me the username with the incorrect capitalization. I want to thank King Julien. Again, had a great time on the interview. Thought it was a great interview. I appreciated harkening back to similar youth baseball stories, really Sandlot stories of how we used to play with friends and siblings growing up. That really resonated with me. Just hearing his journey in the BFF, his journey to Perfect League Championship, his limitations, which really created his build. He didn't see righty cheese and think that's what I want to do. He became righty cheese based on the cards that came out of the packs and his inability to sell those cards. So that was pretty cool. And then the DLL crown. Just hearing the story and the anecdotes from the week that was. It was a banter-filled week. A week which relegated some good teams. The intention of the challenge being to relegate some good teams and change some Discord logos did happen to some. But not everyone. Not everyone. All right, let's close the giveaway here. 3, 2, and 1 exclamation point ticket, and giveaway is closed. First winner tonight is Those Yesterdays. That's a new winner. Haven't seen that name before. Second winner is Dobond Discord. Dubond Iscord. Who knows? Third. Oh, no. No. This machine is clearly broken. I need to send it back and get a new one. This is just terrible. So these are our 3 winners tonight. I'm very excited and happy for 2 of them. Congratulations to Those Yesterdays and Dobon Discord. Congratulations to Jefferson Jim, subscribing with Amazon Prime, as anyone is able to do, free of charge. They've done so for 4 months in a row. Thanks so much, Jefferson Jim. How does Walnut keep winning, says M. Fabic. I have no idea, but I am going to message my senator. I'm going to message Twitch. I'm going to message Discord. I'm going to message anyone who will listen, because we must put a stop to this. We must end it. I mean, this man has pulled 3 Triss speakers from packs, and I don't care if he's opened a ton of packs. 3 Triss speakers? Come on. Don't you have a couple of Glavins on your resume or something? I feel like Triss is the headliner, but there's some other very notable multi-pull on your resume. $99 Boggs. Yep, $3.99 Boggs. Get out of town. Get out of town. This guy's got a horseshoe up somewhere. All right, so who do we have on next week? We have got someone that has been requested. So people have said, I want this guy on the show. I want to hear what he has to say. I want to hear him talk about his contributions to the community. And just get him on the record. Get him on the show. And I'm happy to report that we've been able to do so. His booking agent was tough to nail down, but we finally lined it up. And I'm excited to announce that next week, I will have Maxfire. Maxfire is going to be on the show next week. We're going to be recording this week, and then we'll be airing it a week from today. So hopefully you guys will be able to join for that. 2 days from now, Kidneys and I will be right back at it for This Week in Perfect Team. We know we've only got 2 weeks of content left from Chris. So let's break down what he's given us on Thursday and what it all means to the meta. There's only going to be so much more content before that meta is more or less frozen in carbonite. So there's only a couple more chances for some meaningful shifts. Do we get a big shift this week or not? That's what the world wants to know, and that's what Kidneys and I will try to answer. For anyone that was not here at the beginning, I announced, and I can't even remember the hashtag that I had, but I announced that I'm going to be running a Community Choice Awards show in late February, and I need your guys' help. I need your help determining what categories will be part of that show, and then I'm going to need your help nominating people for those categories. So I'll have all the details for that in the DRC Show Discord, which I will link again here. There you go. So everyone can join there, and then I'll probably post a link in the main Discord as well. But it's the idea is to have a really fun show, to look back on the year that was, to recognize some important members of the community, and have a boatload of fun. So I look forward to you guys helping me with that endeavor. And you can DM me too. If you've got a great idea, a great category that should be nominated for, or a great nomination for an existing category, or one that we already showed on the show, just DM me, and I can take it that way. Sunday will be another Perfect League broadcast, and it will be held on the Out of the Park Twitch channel, so make sure you don't miss that. I think we've had 2 or 3 weeks in a row of a 7-game series, so we'll see if we keep the magic going there. 7-game series, as always, with no long sim, is more fun for everyone. Crashed SF Giants with the nomination for API for the best bedspread, and I don't know that the bedspread was as notable as the pillowcase. I feel like the pillowcase was really the star of the show, but we do have the video. We can go back and check it out. Crash SF Giant still waiting for his first win here. Tom Budo Man asking if it's cards or missions this week. It's definitely cards. I don't know if it's missions. Maybe someone has sleuthed the message board ramblings or the Discord ramblings of one Chris Jardine to know, but I'm not sure about missions. But we're definitely getting cards. Bailey asking if there'll be new cards both weeks. I think so. I believe so. See if I missed anything else here. There's more people calling out the 99 Bogs and how lucky Walnut is. All right, guys. Well, that's it. That's the show. King Julien episode is officially over. Next week, we'll have Max Fire. Thanks so much for joining. Thanks so much for supporting. I didn't see it, but it looks like MacJax donated a bunch of subs to the channel. So, Mac, sorry for missing it in the moment, but thank you for the support as always. You're the man. Even if I rattled your cage a little bit on the interview with King Julien. As I was mentioning in the chat, I feel like we're all trapped on this DLL island, and the longer that you stay there, it makes me feel better about the longer that I've stayed there. So I relish in the fact that we toil in mediocrity together, and I say that even though you actually make the playoffs each week and I'm like 50-50, so I like to lump you in with me even though the records would suggest otherwise. But other than Mac, we've got Crash support in the stream, Walnut. So thanks everyone, and we will see you on Tuesday. This is DRC checking out.